Have you ever looked at someone brilliant and thought they were just born smarter? That some people naturally think deeper, learn faster, and solve harder problems, while the rest of us are stuck with whatever brain we got at birth. That belief is common and dangerous, because the moment you think intelligence is fixed, you stop training your mind. But here's the truth. The most powerful minds are not just gifted, they are trained, not with fake brain hacks, not with random productivity tricks, but with habits that reshape how they think. And once you understand those habits, you realize something important. Genius is often less about talent and more about mental architecture. First, geniuses do not just consume information, they generate thought. Most people are always taking in something: videos, posts, podcasts, tips. It feels productive, but constant input can make the mind full, not sharp. Great thinkers spend time in silence, walking alone, sitting still, staring out the window, doing nothing. Why? Because when there is no input, the brain starts connecting things. It compares ideas, replays memory, builds insight. If your mind is always reacting, it never gets to build. Second, geniuses use struggle as training. Most people think mental difficulty means I'm not smart enough, so they quit too early. But real learning often happens in the tension before clarity. When you try to solve before seeing the answer, when you force yourself to remember, when you sit with confusion instead of escaping it, your brain gets stronger. The feeling of difficulty is not always failure. Sometimes it is the exact sign that real learning is happening. Third, geniuses write to discover what they think. A vague idea can feel clear in your head, but the moment you try to write it down, the holes appear. That is why writing is powerful. It turns invisible thought into visible thought. And once thought becomes visible, it can be improved. So do not just read more, write more. Write what you think, write what confuses you, write the idea in your own words. That is how thought becomes sharper. Fourth, geniuses think in patterns, not just facts. Average minds collect information. Stronger minds look for structure. In business, they see incentives. In psychology, they see bias. In history, they see cycles. In science, they see systems. This is what makes intelligence transferable. You stop learning everything from zero because you start seeing the same patterns everywhere. Fifth, geniuses train memory on purpose. Memory is not separate from intelligence. It supports it. You cannot think deeply with knowledge you cannot recall. That is why smart learners do not just reread. They retrieve, they test themselves, they explain ideas out loud. They try to remember before looking. Recognition is not mastery. If you can only understand it while looking at it, you do not fully own it yet. Sixth, geniuses protect their mental energy. A distracted, overstimulated, sleep-deprived mind will never perform at its best. Sleep matters, recovery matters, focus matters. Many people think they need more discipline when they really need a better mental environment, because one clear hour is worth more than 5 distracted ones. Seventh, your brain becomes what it repeatedly does. If you constantly scroll, you train distraction. If you constantly avoid hard thinking, you train escape. If you constantly focus, reflect, and solve, you train depth. That is the real secret. Your mind is being shaped every day, not only by what you learn, but by how you live. And finally, real intelligence includes the ability to update. Smart people are not always the ones who are right first. Often they are the ones who can admit they were wrong faster. They ask, what if I'm mistaken? What evidence would change my mind? Am I seeking truth or protecting my ego? That flexibility is a rare kind of intelligence. So is IQ fixed? Not completely, and not infinitely either. But your mind is far more trainable than most people believe. You can become more focused, more thoughtful, more structured, more insightful, more capable, not through fantasy, through training. Protect silence. Use struggle, write to think, Build patterns, train memory, guard your energy, and update your beliefs. Do that long enough and people may call it talent, but you will know the truth. It was built.